Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Triggered. Tonight we have Rachel Edwards with us. Rachel, say hello.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, everybody, we are going to be talking about random shit, as we always do. So, to get started, we're just going to kind of jump into it. Rachel, why don't you give yourself like a really quick introduction?
Hi, I'm Rachel Edwards, and I do a lot of the writing for Honeybadgers Radio. Anytime there's news items or things like that, or just research and things in the background to be done, I am there working in the background and on that sort of thing. And I'm a regular panelist on the show. So and I've been. Oh, go on.
I have another question. So why don't you go on?
And I've been at men's rights activism for about, I want to say, about a year and a half. So.
Okay. So what were you doing right before you got into men's rights activism? Were you a totally different person? Did you have like a red pill moment kind of a thing, or were you always sort of based and then you discovered this?
I want to say that I'm not going to say that I was a horrible person. I mean, I think everybody's terrible when they're a teenager, but some degree or another. But
hey.
Before, you know what I mean. There's.
I know. I'm kidding.
Yeah, teens are kind of assholes to each other.
No, it's true.
No, but even then I was more of an annoying teenager. But before my I think before coming to the realization of everything. One of the things I started noticing was things that were going on with my guy friends, and I had always befriended a lot of nerdy guys and stuff like that, people who were the exact opposite of things that were being said by feminists and stuff like that. And so, when they started saying these things, I was like, well, what the fuck are they talking about? Some of the nicest people in the world have been men, in my opinion, to me. And some of the worst have been women. So it's like, it was kind of a weird situation. But yeah, I think I would say I had several red pill moments, but they just didn't quite build up until.
So did it happen through empathy towards somebody else that was getting beat up?
Well, not getting beat up, but it was.
Well, I mean,
it was
roughed up emotionally, if you will, or whatever.
Yeah, it was through a lot of empathy towards guys, and sometimes you get anybody talking long enough, they start telling you their life story, and then it was the same thing again and again, and they were talking about how people didn't really treat them with the kind of compassion that I did. And I thought that was really weird because I was just treating them like a really regular person.
Was that just a shitty high school behavior, or was that bureaucratic stuff, or was it actually trending into adult shitty behavior?
At first I thought it was just regular teenage stuff that people were going through. And then as I got older and the people I talked to got older, I realized this stuff wasn't going away. It was still there, it was still present, and people weren't paying attention to these men who were suicidal and listening to any of their issues,
right.
Or taking it seriously. And that started getting to me a little bit. It was something that, I think it was something that built over time. There were several moments where things happened that blew my mind. Like I remember I was in a group therapy session and somebody revealed that they had lied about rape allegations.
Uh-huh.
And that was something I'm like, why would my mind was blown. I said, why would anybody lie about something like that, something so terrible? I didn't think anybody could ever do that. And then I realized that this person who I had talked to, who I've been kind to, time and again, had it in them to do that. So stuff like that kind of messes with you. It opens your eyes to the way that people can be terrible to each other. And so in my mind, it was really crazy for people to not treat men with the same kind of compassion that you would treat women with. So, yeah.
Well, awesome. Janice, questions answered. Your next question.
Yeah. All right.
Well, how exactly did you get into the honey badger thing? Unless is that already kind of covered by what you already said?
I can explain. I'd actually been a fan of the show. I'd been listening to it back when it was on Blog Talk Radio, and I got to that from watching Karen's videos. And then there was one day when I remember, I think it was Allison was saying, okay, on one of the shows, if you think you can volunteer for these particular things, by all means contact us. And I was thinking, they're not going to get back to me, I mean, I send in a couple of samples of my writing from stuff that I've been blogging on Tumblr, and she liked it, and she was like, okay, sort of when can you start? I mean, there was a little bit of a vetting, like making sure, like, that I'm not some kind of feminist shell.
That you weren't a fucking concern troll.
Yeah, but it was, but that was coming right after like the woolly bumblebee stuff, and
oh, okay.
So everyone I think was a little bit on edge. So, but yeah, it was just typically the sort of thing where you say you offer your time up for volunteering, and and then I kind of worked my way up in a way, started doing things here and there that needed to be done, and yeah. Okay. And then I bought this microphone.
Boom. Professional.
Happened, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Things were never the same.
Famous already.
Oh gosh.
So, Guinness, did you have any other questions?
Let's see. Well, I'm just curious as to, because we've kind of covered like where how you got started and stuff, but what do you do on a day-to-day basis that's related to the MRA or anything? What do you?
What do I do?
Anything.
What do I
do? Besides the rampant bestiality.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. What do I do day to day for the MRM? Okay. A lot of it is just through posting articles. Like I write a good deal of the time, and I try to put that out. And when I think I see my position on Tumblr as almost a public service, because I'm doing my part to colonize that space that has been taken over by crazy motherfuckers. And so I just think that I should just pump out reason, and if I do that enough, and I send out enough of it into the void, that eventually someone will respond to it, and yeah, the response has been mostly positive. I know a lot of people get, they get a bunch of messages. I mean, about Tumblr being like this horrible, terrible place, but if you're based enough, nobody fucks with you.
Right.
It blows my mind. It blows my mind because I will say all kinds of stuff, all manner of things about feminism. And how terrible social justice warriors are, and all this stuff, and nobody says a word. But it's always the little things about identity politics that you never think about that people freak out about.
Right.
So it's oh god, what was the question again? I'm really ADD.
That's pretty good.
I'm sorry, I'm going off topic.
No.
The point of the show is that we just kind of go everywhere off the board.
You forgot that you answered the question.
Yeah, I also do. I've also started doing articles on the mostly social justice warrior progressive thing of Medium.com. So I started pumping articles out there as well. Yeah. So
do newspapers treat you like lepers? Like, will they ever allow you to? Like, if they're going off in some feminist rants, like, you ever written one of them and said, by the way, would you accept a letter to the editor from an opposing viewpoint?
I don't know. I honestly don't know if they would take me.
Because there's an enormous amount of self-censorship that is involved with the media bias, in that a lot of people are so convinced that they won't listen that they don't even submit the thing, and then they blame the media for that. And obviously the media in a lot of cases won't accept it, but you can't blame them if you never sent it to them in the first place, right? Well,
I could attempt to.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying, throw it out there,
Right now, I'm just trying to hone my skills and get to the point where I end up getting.
You've seen those bitches don't even get grammar right, so.
Oh yeah,
it's a very low bar you have to hit here. I mean, we've both read an article at Jezebel.
Yeah, I
linked
know.
to
I mean,
us.
if
They are.
oh gosh.
The lowest
If you've ever, I mean, it amazes
Yeah,
me
of
that
course
people
I
like
have.
Jessica Valenti get paid to do this, to do what they do. I mean, when you're and Amanda Marcotte, oh my gosh,
I am
just
convinced that the
woman.
only reason that they don't have as many grammatical errors in Guardian is because when she turns in a report in crayon, they actually have an editor kind of proofread it before it goes up on the website.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right. So, what do you respond to the this? I've heard this recently, and it brought up a really interesting argument in our group. How do you respond to the allegation that MRAs are just like feminists? What do you say to that?
Oh gosh, it's kind of a
Like the other side of the spectrum, the horseshoe thing, you know?
it's kind of a ridiculous thing. A lot of people will make that argument, but all I'm gonna say is that having been around both, I see a lot more tolerance on the end of the MRM, and this is I'm in a kind of a unique position because most people don't get to talk to a lot of the people who do things like write articles for Voice for Men or who work on Honey Badger Radio or who are just generally associated or very active members of the movement. And having met all those people that come from so many different backgrounds, and there is a level of tolerance there of people with different beliefs and politics being able to tolerate each other and agree to disagree that I have not seen from the feminist movement. So it's they try to push people out just because you're different in the feminist movement, and whereas there tends to be a willingness, a little bit more, I think, to handle differences and accept that there's going to be differences politically and in beliefs and things like that. So it's hard for me.
You want to have a discussion, they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's generally true. Definitely for anti the sorry, I'm losing the word. Damn it, I lost my train of thought.
Just the word noises.
Anti-feminist, thank you.
Yes.
I think it's definitely true if anti-feminists in general are a lot more open to the ideas in general and discussion, because feminists just want to shut down discussion, and it seems, and they're just interested in censoring. And whereas just being non-feminist, when you say you're not a feminist, you seem to have an idea of not being censored. Because you I don't know, am I talking crazy or?
No, and it depends on your reasoning behind why you decided to become a men's rights activist. I consider myself a men's rights advocate because I'm an egalitarian, and I feel that there needs to be not only an acknowledgement of the differences between men and women, but a respect of their rights under the law. And that's why I came to this. Some people get involved because they believe that through fighting feminism they're going to achieve all of that. And to some degree I understand, but I think that even if you were to get rid of feminism tomorrow, if it was to disappear off the face of the earth, the things that are the basis for it are still going to be there. There's still going to be gynocentrism. There's still going to be the way that people think about men, and that's not going to easily go away. So it's kind of a complicated situation. I think that the people right now, I'm rambling. The reason why I think people will confuse the two, or feel that there is this sort of horseshoe thing, is because people judge the movement based upon what they see people saying in comment sections on YouTube. Yeah. Or things like that. When, to be perfectly honest, if I'm gonna really put it out there, what the reality of this is that often people get frustrated, or maybe they get a little bit trolly sometimes, but that seems to be the only way that anybody listens to them. If they just speak frankly and they just explain, what their grievances are, nobody cares. But when you say, "Oh, this woman right here, she's terrible and she's a cunt," people listen. If you're really, really nice and you try and talk to the feminists in the comment section and say, "Okay, that's nice, I understand what you're saying, but here's what I'm saying," they walk all over you. They walk all over you and then they shame you and they tell you that you're a terrible human being, even though you've just been really, really nice.
Right,
So
and if you're mean, what they say is, well, you're rude.
Exactly, and then, but at least they listened to what you had to say. And that's the really frustrating thing here. People are judging this based upon stuff that they see in comment sections. They're also basing it off of some of the more radical end of MGTOW. And to be perfectly honest, while I do support MGTOW, and I do support the idea behind it, the idea of men making their own decisions, and deciding what path is best for them, I think that when they start making arguments like that there's something about women that can never be fixed, that there's something terrible about them, something toxic about them that simply cannot go away, that no matter what you do, there's no way that women can be aware of the negative aspects of their personalities and they can't keep that in check. When you start making that argument, you're basically making the equivalent of an argument for toxic masculinity, but for femininity instead, and you start making the exact same arguments that like second wave feminists made, but with a gender flip. And when you start doing that, it becomes completely ridiculous. And at that point, those people, I would say, are
we have it is it's cultural, right? We don't think that there's a biological. I mean, I don't know. You tell me if you agree or disagree. It's a cultural issue, not a biological issue.
I think a part of it is biological, but a part of it is also cultural. Depending on to what degree that is up for debate. But I think it's undeniable there are certain things that come into play, like hormones and stuff like that. You can even talk to people who are transitioning from like male to female and ask them on what role hormones play in that and how that's just affecting them overall.
Right.
And yeah, you can start to see things like you'll get a little more upset about things that you normally wouldn't. You might argue about something that doesn't really make any fucking sense at all, and you don't realize that you're doing it. And I think the worst part of this is that because we don't hold women accountable for their actions, they don't realize when they're doing something wrong, when they're being completely ridiculous because people just accept that this is how women are supposed to be.
Right.
So we also play a role in this.
But what the feminists would say is that is the soft sexism of I don't know, tolerance or low expectations. I'm just telling you what they would say.
Yeah, they're completely fucking ridiculous, and I'm consistently amazed at just how far they go, because I'll think to myself, there's no way that they can get dumber than that last thing that they just said, and then they find something else.
No, come on, you both know it's turtles all the way down.
I know. It's all downhill.
What do you think about Gamergate?
I support it 100%, and I support it on the basis of being anti-censorship, but I've also been around for
what
this.
What did you think of the Zoe Quinn porn?
Wait, oh gosh.
I'm tempted to flash it up here on this so that.
Oh gosh, I think it's a fucking tragedy. I think it's a fucking tragedy. It's pretty sad.
It's pretty sad. It's funny.
No, but the reason why I say it's a tragedy is that she's really not all that great looking.
No.
With no clothes on, and and she just looks so painfully awkward.
You can see why she has pink hair. You can see why.
Yeah, that's because there's nothing else to notice.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so sad.
It's the unbelievably plain girl that gets the breast implants. It's sort of what's going on there.
Well,
look at me, I'm edgy. And then did you watch the Sarkeesian effect thing that came out from what's this up? Not
Owen.
Yeah, from Owen. Did you see that yet?
No,
we watched that together, and he had an interview with some woman. I could pull the name up if I spent a moment looking for it. That actually did the photo shoot for her. for Zoe.
Oh, really? Really? So they
Yeah.
finally talked to her. Oh, geez.
Yes, they talked to her, and so this woman was like, "Yeah, we were driving along in the car. We were going to do this shoot at, I guess, at a junkyard for some reason."
Oh,
And
geez.
Because she's trash.
it was apparently edgy. They were going for sort of a Suicide Girls type thing, and
Of course, that's what they were going for, but they
right,
missed.
yeah. And so Zoe signed all these. It was like a porn shoot, so you sign a whole bunch of waivers and forms and whatever that makes it very clear. I consent to everything, because they're going to put naked pictures of me up on the internet. But anyway, it was just interesting. I don't know. I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should definitely give that thing a look. It's not. There's some bits of it where you're like, my God, Owen. Fast forward, but there are a couple interesting interviews in there.
Yeah, and it's. Well, I am in the movie, by the way. It's kind of a.
Yeah, you are. You are.
Yeah,
in the movie.
I am in the movie.
remember.
It is a small part, but.
Yeah.
And I'm always painfully awkward on camera, but the situation with all this, the reason why I'm probably behind looking at stuff for the Sarkeesian effect and everything is, it's really, really sad to watch all the drama unfold. I mean, just the lack of professionalism. Like, just hold it together for a little while, please.
No, absolutely not.
Please.
No.
And I got to meet them both in person and everything like that,
Yeah.
and I knew from the beginning they were very, very different people,
Right.
and so it made sense, what eventually happened, I suppose.
Right.
But it doesn't matter, when you
If they clawed each other's eyes at 5 minutes after it released, you would have been a little happier.
Here's the thing: when you work on a project together
Yeah.
and everything like that, you have differences of opinion, and you've been funded like this,
Yeah.
and people put their hard-earned money in it. You hold your shit together until you fucking finish, and then you guys can call each other every name under the fucking sun. I don't care.
Right.
Just deliver people the product like you
Yeah.
said you would.
Yeah, no, there's obviously no recovery for their reputations. But I mean, no one cares about them.
Yeah,
No,
because
the video actually wasn't so bad, though, honestly.
Jordan Owen is such a nice guy. I mean, I know he probably comes off as a little
the other
bit
guy's
arrogant.
right, though. He does not know how to use a white balance. That's
Well,
that is insult.
Arini wasn't right. He said he knew all the keyboard shortcuts, but that just is not going to. But anyway, but that's beside the point. The only thing that made me upset in all this is that the moment that shit went down, there will be moments where, I shit you not, and this is just something I noticed, but like Davis Arini would like send me messages like trying to be all like buddy as if like I was gonna go shit talk Jordan with
Right.
him. And I'm like, no dude, that's not cool with me. Okay?
Right.
I am not gonna discuss that. I'm not gonna discuss any of that. You have a nice time. I'm not gonna talk to you. But that would be the thing that happened one time, and it was weird. I was like, dude, really? Like the lack of professionalism on the part of Davis was
I know.
really upsetting to me, because I had pegged him for the person who was probably going to be the most professional in all this. But
Right.
it was just really, really upsetting to me to see people who had been working together just fall apart like that.
No. It was
shouldn't
very disappointing. But I only reference it because there was that interview with the woman who took the photo shoot for those naked Zoe photos.
Yeah.
Which was awesome.
So I've got something very interesting that I've just been handed that I think will go very well with our guest here. I've just been handed a magazine with an article in it called "Why Men Can't Have It All." Let's see here. It says,
magnificent.
a 2013 study found that 60%, this is in Canada, 60% of men describe their childcare hours as very meaningful, while only 33% said that about their job. So then it says, when they say that work-life balance is a woman's issue, they're forgetting someone. The Case for Men's Liberation and Why It Matters to Women, by Ann Kingston. Andrew Moravasic would seem an unlikely revolutionary, but the professor of politics and international affairs at Princeton University became a radical outlier this month when he shared his account of being the lead parent to his two sons. And Will, you'll love this. and a devoted beta husband to his alpha wife.
Holy shit!
In Why I Put My Wife's Career First, published in the Atlantic, Morasovic writes of being on the front lines of everyday life, getting his children out of the house in the morning, taking them to appointments, being the parent who drops everything in a crisis. It was an accommodation he willingly made, he says. His wife has the bigger job. She's rarely home for more than a couple of dinners a week. His wife will be familiar to many. Anne Marie Slaughter, a dean of law and director of policy planning for the State Department under Hillary Clinton, who made a huge splash with her 2012 article, also in the pages of The Atlantic, titled "Why Women Still Can't Have It All." Morasovic's account, in some ways, was a familiar one, echoing the frustrations voiced by women and overwhelmed heroines of mom-lit classics such as Alison Person's "I Don't Know How She Does It." Juggling carrying in career leaves me feeling that I'm doing a bad job as both a parent and a professional, he wrote. Admitting family sacrifices have unavoidably taken a toll on my professional productivity, but he also made an admission rarely heard in discussions of work-family trade-offs, the immense satisfaction he got from caring for his children. Despite many days of weariness, I would never give up being the one, the parent of my child trusted to help master his first stage role, the parent who shared my child's wonder at his first musical composition, the parent my boy called for when they needed comfort in the night, he writes. Morasovic is something of a rarity as a professional male voice who doesn't fill a Mr. Mom cliche, but supports a more professionally successful wife, and navigates the tensions surrounding work-family balance that have typically been debated by women in an endless loop for decades. But he's becoming less of a rarity, as a growing number of male voices weigh in what Ruth Bader Ginsburg taught me about being a stay-at-home dad. Also in The Atlantic, lawyer Ryan Park described leaving a conducted clerkship with U.S. Supreme Court judge to care for his wife while his wife returned for medical residency. CNN journalist Josh Levs published All In: How Our Work-First Culture Fails Dads, Families, and Businesses, and How We Can Fix It Together. A memoir-cum social policy book about the challenges facing fathers, whose title echoed Sheryl Sandberg's female call to action. Now, is this interesting at all yet, or have we got anything to say about this, or is this useless?
Summarize, my man, summarize. Some of these articles are quite long.
So guys basically putting in time so that their women can basically have their careers and everything?
Sounds like it.
But, well, that's kind of an interesting thing because they're acting as though this is the thing that makes them happy. But statistically speaking, we know that that's not the case. That women are miserable. They're all hawked up on like antidepressants and everything, every kind of drug imaginable, and they're like, oh my gosh, why can't I have it all? The reason I simply can't have it all, it must be patriarchy. And it's not the fact that I have to pick and choose, like every other person. It's, I don't know, it's just ridiculous to me.
Here's an interesting quote from the article. The masculine mystique, aggressive, competitive, has been as damaging as the female mystique.
Wow.
Okay.
Apparently, yeah.
It's, I don't know, this is just weird. This is just a weird article.
No, it's because the ladies
welcome,
like
shut
the
up.
ones.
Did you guys remember? Did you guys ever see that article though? That was the story of the guy who was talking about how making his marriage an open one made him more of a feminist. That was
So
it blew
fucked up, dude.
my mind because the guy was getting like rip-roaring drunk over several glasses of wine to really think about why he was upset, and then he was like,
You're not talking about
"Oh,
Rick Carrier, are you?
what?"
You're not talking about Rick Carrier, are you? Or is that something totally different?
I don't. No, I think that's something different. But there's this guy who he writes. I think it was an article for, I want to say, Huffington Post or something, one of those really hardcore liberal publications. And he's writing about how deciding to make let his wife, who is the career woman in the house, like the women in these articles, have affairs with other men and sleep with them. Made him more of a feminist and stuff like that, because the reason why he felt like he there was some kind of a violation, or at least that's what he says. He says the reason that he felt that there was some kind of violation was because he felt that maybe he realized that it was because he felt some kind of ownership over her. No, the reason why you feel that way, dude, is because this is not what you signed up for when you decided that you wanted to get married, and you decided to take the house husband role, which now she probably finds to be incredibly unattractive because you're no longer the provider or anything like that, and you're no longer in a typically masculine role. Yeah, they
Next
have kids.
thing you know, the
They have
milkman
kids, and
is
he's the
bagging
house
a lot.
husband. He's the house husband. He takes care of the children. He puts them to bed at night. He puts them on the bus for school and everything. He does everything in the house. He cooks all the meals. He's the caretaker. And she says, "Well, I'd like to go sleep with other guys."
Here's where my paranoia goes with this whole thing. What do you think the results of a DNA test would be?
Oh,
So he's sitting there.
Oh shit!
Come on, no, you have to. Come
Sorry.
on, keep up. Be cynical enough.
I think they say like something in the realm of oh gosh, I think.
Yeah, that's in
I'm
the
trying to
general
remember. I'm
population.
trying to
We're
remember the
talking in this
statistical
particular
population.
event.
Yeah.
Okay, we already
Oh.
know she's having sex with everybody already.
yeah.
Probably. Yeah. Now she's just asking for
I mean,
permission.
the question is, like, when did that start?
She just
Oh yeah.
Right?
I
because
would
like
say
the
right
thing would
after
be she would start sleeping around, and then she'd be like, okay, I'm way too hot and heavy and waist deep in this. I'm gonna get caught eventually, so I better just be like, I want to open marriage now, and then whenever I do get caught, it's not gonna matter because he already agreed to it. But I do want
Exactly.
to talk later about
I would say-
household economics after this.
You know what? I want to say that it would probably be after at least the first child, and they decided, oh well, I need somebody at home to watch this child and everything like that we have together, and maybe like something around the realm of like at least second or third child. I don't remember how many
If
kids
this
they
guy
had.
were a friend of mine, I would take a cheek swab from his kids.
Yeah, and
Oh,
it's
sorry.
really sad
This-
because
so
she's
this,
she's got.
I'm not saying I just
caretaker.
need for my own personal information. I'd have to know. I wouldn't even necessarily tell the guy. I just want to know for my own personal information.
So this is very interesting. Listen to this. Culturally, we're watching a fascinating tableau of gender-bending masculinity.
Oh my god.
In fashion, there's the man bun, designer Rick Owens' heels for men, and the arrival of the lumbersexual, a beard-sporting, flannel-wearing, unapologetically sensitive man.
Oh my god.
I understand the beard and I understand the flannel. I don't understand
Another quote here.
the apologetic, sensitive part.
Here's the thing.
What about cutting trees down?
Yeah.
The forest
Oh,
makes you emotional.
I don't know. Maybe they're a lumberjack and they're okay, and
No,
they wish they'd been a
no.
girly just like their dear mama.
No, it's
I don't know.
weird. It's like it's the whole metrosexual thing, desperately clawing for some. So it's like all the metrosexuals said, "Oh shit, everybody thinks we're women now because we're wearing eyeshadow."
Yeah. I better wear plaid. That'll throw
Put on
everybody
some
off.
flannel, quick.
Oh,
It's the same thing. It's the same guys, I bet you.
I mean,
My
if I put
apologies.
on plaid, then I'd probably look like a lumbersexual, but I'm not in a metro area. So,
all right.
so
what
I
do
guess
they
I
mean
just look
by-
normal.
All right, what do they mean by unapologetically emotional? Because here's the thing: there have always been emotional guys. I think it's that now they're being emotional in the way that women have always demanded that they be emotional, which is to be emotional in the way that women are emotional. And I honestly wonder if if women are genuinely attracted to that because their behavior suggests otherwise. I'm not saying that they can't be attracted to men being emotional. Yeah, there are. Every guy is emotional at some time or another. It's just I honestly think that these women are
The key-
starting to
The
date.
key word, what they're looking for, is vulnerability.
What they're looking for is non-threatening. They're looking for a man who doesn't look as though they could that he could punch them in the face. That's what they're really doing. They're trying to date men that are built like teenage girls because they feel threatened by big bulky guys because they can't tell them.
Patriarchy isn't going to hit you.
Here's
You're a girl.
they can't tell the difference
Yeah, no.
between the kind of guy who's strong and might smack them in the face and the kind of guy who's strong but would never lay a hand on them. And because of that, because they believe that men are dangerous, they're going for the guys who look as non-threatening as humanly possible, and that is why it's popular right now.
That's an interesting thought I never had. Huh.
How much of this? I mean, one thing that becomes very obvious whenever you read into this feminist literature is that they know literally nothing about men. Just,
Yeah.
Right.
Just like they probably never had a father. Just nothing. How much of this do you think is the consequence of the internet? This whole thing where there are a lot of people that are just kind of sitting there tweeting away or whatever, and they don't have a whole lot of human contact, and so a whole lot of stuff is just kind of going on in their brains, but they don't have reality checks on a regular basis? Is that just?
I'm going to tell you the I'm going to tell you the honest truth. I honestly don't think it's the internet. I think, if anything, the internet has made us more aware of it, but I think it's always been around.
Okay.
And now we're just aware of these people. We know that they exist, and
Right.
now they have a place to talk to one another.
Right.
But now this is also recorded. Now people can screenshot this stuff and leave it there for later generations. It's like, oh, by the way, take a look at this thing that this
Right.
dumbass person said all these years ago. You know how they're like this big, famous feminist scholar nowadays, and now they're getting
Right.
paid money, and now they're doing this stuff for the government, because that's what'll happen in the future.
Right.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to some degree what we say or how stupid what comes out of their mouth is. Some of these people are going to get promoted to positions of power and stuff like that, and they're going to be able to have speaking engagements. Some of them are having that right now, like Lacey Green. She's speaking at colleges right now, and she doesn't even fucking understand. She doesn't even know anything about the Rotterdam
Does she always show up
things.
with her cleavage ready to go?
Does she do what now?
Show up with her cleavage ready to go. You know,
Yeah, of
she's
course
got to
she
have
does.
like a camera angled at like a 45-degree angle above her, and then like with a big jumbotron behind her.
Yeah.
Just
Of
so you
course she
can-
does. Of course she does. And
Of course she does, because that's
Well,
how
she
you.
has to, I know why she
you
does
end
that.
the
Will. It's really
objectification
simple.
of women by putting their cleavage just there.
No, Will, the reason why Lacey Green shows her cleavage
Cleavers.
is because she used to be a Mormon, and she wants to prove that she's still not wearing her magic Mormon underwear.
Yeah.
I do want to get back on the idea of stay-at-home dads after what the fuck out of it.
No,
wait,
come on.
can I
So,
say one
yeah,
last
go
thing
ahead,
though?
Rachel.
I do
Go
want to
for
say
it,
one.
bro.
I do want
Go
to say
ahead.
one last thing about Lacey Green before we move on. This is something interesting. According to Wikipedia, and this is something I looked up the other day. Her father is actually not like a white Mormon. He's actually an Iranian Muslim that converted to Mormonism. And she would talk about She would talk about how she had problems with the fact that her father never shared household chores or anything like that. The gender roles were very strict in her household. How much of that was the fact that her father came from an Islamic family?
Right. Well, and
How much of
forget Islamic, Iranian.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's a
and,
totally
How
different
much of
country.
that? How much of that came from that? And I mean, at first I thought it was from the fact that she was raised Mormon. But if you look at a lot of Mormons, a lot of these people are just nice folks.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But I think her skewed view of how men are probably came from that, and how her family kind of catered probably to that mindset.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
What a bizarre. Wow, I have to look more into that chick. That's fascinating.
Yeah, that is interesting. We could have a whole show about Mormonism. But
shit. God, Mormonism.
back to stay-at-home fathers. So like, I just turned 24. Eventually, I'm gonna get married. I'm going to get my master's in business administration in about 2 more years. So there's a high chance that who I marry will make less than me. But there's also a large possibility that who I marry could make more than me, and some cases by a significant amount. I like a lot of Indian girls, so I could hypothetically marry an Indian engineer or doctor that will make way more money than me.
Oh god.
And in that financial scenario, I would be completely okay with staying at home and working with kids, because my bachelor's is in finance. I could just take my certified financial planner exam. I could open up my own business at home, and bada bing, bada boop. But if I got a wife that doesn't have a career as good as mine, or that's as high earning, then she's gonna stay home, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, obviously,
Interesting.
whichever person makes less should generally stay home.
Yeah, I mean, any good parent would want to spend as much time with their kids as possible. The only purpose of a job is to sustain your life and your family's life.
Yeah.
So if you can do that,
Yeah,
then
if you can
everything
afford
else
it.
you should be plowing into your children.
Oh God, don't say it
You
that way.
absolutely should not be plowing.
That's a different story.
You should not be
entirely.
plowing your children. Let's just not
I
do
would like
that.
I would like to
No.
officially say that nobody here condones plowing children.
Yeah,
Right.
don't do that.
Right. Sound bites are gonna get grabbed from the street.
Yeah,
You're gonna have
don't
to-
touch kids. Don't touch
See,
kids.
this is why I don't say my real name.
So I have one more since it's still kind of on the topic. Unless Pat, have you got more, or can I throw something out?
No, but staying home dad,
I
staying
don't know.
home mom.
I
That
don't
should be
know. Pat was
financial.
sounding like he was just starting to share here.
Well, as long as you're
I'm
not getting
good.
cooked,
I'm good. I don't want to be Jared's cellmate.
as long as you're not getting cooked, man, by that hot Indian hypothetical wife of yours.
You're gonna get cucked. You know, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
So another quote from the article is nice and bold here. Is manhood isn't under attack, the new dads say, but in need of a definition that reflects what men actually want.
We've heard it so many times
So
before.
men need to grow up. Men need to grow up. That's what he's saying.
We have to redefine masculinity to the sense that it becomes femininity.
It's not under attack. It needs to be entirely redefined.
Oh no! Here, I didn't even get to the best part here. Look, after that one bit about the lumbersexual, it says this. At the same time, there's 50 Shades of Grey, with its dominating, controlling, unemotive billionaire character, a cartoon, the last grasp of a masculinity that's giving way to a more complex
Because
reality.
men were just rubbing themselves raw over that fucking movie.
Cartoon, man.
Oh God! So isn't that like the story of a woman who decides she wants to date a fucking sociopath? Isn't that
pretty much? Yeah.
a woman who is boring as dirt? Decides that she wants to date a guy
We've
who.
got different opinions.
Yeah. I mean, he's a big, rich, powerful guy who just kind of does whatever he wants.
Yeah, it's just a hypergamy thing.
Yeah.
Oh jeez.
He is literally a female fantasy. So.
Actually, I will tell you what all that shit is about. I will tell you all that. Okay. All this stuff. This is. The funny thing is that this tends to be an ongoing theme in these stories. Despite what feminists say about enjoying empowerment and everything like that, now that they've had to take on all of these responsibilities and they have to earn their own money and they have to take care of themselves and they have to do all of these different things, now what their escapism is to imagine that a man does all of these wonderful things for them and sweeps them off their feet and gives them all the things that they wanted without ever having to ask.
But wasn't that the same fantasy? Like, if I went back 100 years and I looked at female fantasy, wasn't it something not that dissimilar?
That's true.
So
It's
the
true.
dream never changed.
Yeah, exactly. So the dream never changed. They're still holding on to it. It was the same shit in Twilight. Think about it. Like, but the thing of Twilight is it's actually fueled by teenage hormones. To be perfectly honest, if you want to know how to write a best-selling young adult fiction, all you need to do is put a guy and a girl in really high intense sexual tension situations and just hint that they're eventually going to have sex, and then you do that over like 3 or 4 books.
Right.
And it will sell like hotcakes. It will sell like hotcakes, and that is the way that Twilight did that. Is that
Even when a plot is horrible and the acting is horrible, yeah, it still works.
So
it presented.
Let me just I'm gonna close off this article here because there's one more interesting little bit here. In the 1970s, Gloria Steinem famously declared that women's liberation will be men's liberation too.
Oh.
Truth is more complicated. Ruth Bader Ginsburg came close with her line, "When fathers take equal responsibility for the care of their children, that's when women will truly be liberated." Segregating
my God.
segregating men's and women's. Hold on, one more paragraph. This is the last paragraph. Segregating men's and women's movements is counterproductive, says March. You can't get at the interesting problems, which are the way men and women live together in actual negotiation between genders. And the actual negotiation between genders. That is the actual way we live our lives as men and women together.
Yeah, I think one thing Ruth Bader Ginsburg doesn't understand is that acquiring resources for your children, even if you aren't around them at any particular time, is investing in your children. The same as if you're physically with them.
Right,
It's
and also
completely necessary.
right, yeah, and also they tend to look over all the work men do at home, like fixing stuff and stuff like that. I mean, when something's gonna break down, it's usually gonna be the man who's gonna fix it. So that's all that. No, yeah, no.
No, the only thing that matters is that she makes the beds and she vacuums.
Right, yeah.
That's the important thing.
That's the most important. Yeah.
Nothing else matters.
Yeah, and the person laying the food on the table is also not important. No. It's only getting the money. No, it's not important at all. No. It's only the person who lays the person in bed. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So Rachel, comments, thoughts, monologues, manifestos, master plans.
Comments on single, well, not single fatherhood, but stay-at-home dads. I mean, if this is if it works for them, more power to them. I have a feeling what's going to happen is you're going to just see more women acting like the woman from that article where the man writes about how the reason why he's okay with his wife sleeping with other dudes is because he's a better feminist now and he understands his place, which is to be the caretaker, the one to take out the trash and do all of the basically
he's the harem guard.
She has physically, well, not physically, she has at least she has emotionally emasculated him, basically. She said she's taken his spine and removed it, and it's so incredibly sad to me that people are totally fine letting that happen to them, and that's. Well,
but it was his responsibility to not let it happen.
I know it is. And I understand that some people are able to do the whole polyamory thing, but I think what people need to understand is that it's kind of a difficult situation to enter into after after your relationship was different. So I mean, what I find so ridiculous is that there will be people who will be really, really upset when they ask their husband or wife, "Oh my gosh, I want to open our relationship," and they get upset. And understandably so, because when somebody decides that they want to enter that kind of relationship, which is one that you decide to get married and things like that, you're signing an agreement. You're agreeing that this is the kind of relationship you're going to have. That this is the nature of your relationship, and what you are trying to do is you want to renegotiate the contract midway. You're like,
right. So one of the things that Guinness was talking about there was Bader Ginsburg's whole thing about women's liberation being men's liberation.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, that presupposes that there's some sort of mutual oppression.
How? Here's the thing.
What are we being liberated from here?
Exactly. How is this liberating men though? Because last time I checked, they didn't get to choose whether or not to be a father. How exactly is leaving them the whole task of child care and all of like the really hard house stuff. Not hard. It's not difficult, but you know what I mean. All the caretaking stuff. How is that?
Generally enjoy each other.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the old line about there can't be a war between the sexes because there's too much fraternization, right? And I mean, I think you were touching on this before about the internet allowing a lot of goofballs an ability to basically pretend that they're more than they are, or that they represent a larger portion. I mean, what portion of the population would you say are the nut bars at this point? Because I'm personally pegging it maybe,
nut bars of,
maybe 2 to 5% max.
Okay,
I mean, this
are
is
you
my
talking
estimation.
Are you talking about of the feminists or?
Yeah, like the real cuckoo for coconuts.
I would actually say that it's probably a very small portion, but the thing about it is that this small portion, they're real kiss asses, so they know whose asses to kiss, and they're probably not far from those asses, like right now. And so, come election time, when you're right there before an election year, they're right there campaigning for their a political candidate that aligns with their interests.
How much of the of this new energy that we're seeing in the feminist movement do you think is a cynical ploy to basically make Hillary look good? Like,
I would say a good portion of it.
I'm just noticing that her campaign and this whole feminism thing is kicking off again at the same time.
I really don't think it's an accident.
It went dormant for a while.
I don't think it's an accident, and I don't think it's some kind of massive conspiracy to try and get Hillary into office. I just think it's decisions that they made knowing that was what they wanted down the line, that Hillary would probably run again, and they want to push for a female to be in the White House as the president of the United States. And that's something that they're like, okay, well, we got a black guy now. And he's mixed race.
Well, they say that, but like if I put
nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's in their mind, he's black. And so now what we need to do, we need to get a woman in office now. That's what we need to do.
But if I gave them a choice, if I gave them a choice between Sarah Palin and Joe Biden, they'd pick Joe Biden.
Yes.
They'd pick the old white guy.
Yeah, that's what they would do.
So they actually care about the woman. They care about the woman.
Because she's not the right kind of woman. Yeah. And that's the thing that's so incredibly frustrating. They only care if it's the kind of woman that shares their politics.
Right. Well, I mean, that's something that I think...
we jumped on Sarah Palin.
Has come across again and again is that, and I think Allison was talking about this when you were looking over the Oxford debates with the Purple People Eater. And and the comment, I believe, was that she skins victimhood off of people and wears the victimhood like a cloak. But I think that that's a consistent sort of progressive theme where what they do is they go around and they look for some sort of identity politics theme to push their agenda, but they don't actually care about the identity. What they care about is the political numbers they can suck out of the issue. And then they discard the husk when they move on.
Yeah, they also want to appear like good guys and frame the other side.
Well, I mean, it's just until the election, and once once you're in the boxcars, who cares?
One of the things that we have to look at in all of this is the role academia plays, and if you look at a lot of the social justice warriors now, they're the same people who have always been this kind of social justice nut job, which are the people who went to school and they took the most useless major imaginable, and so they never left college. They just decided to teach instead, and so they still have all of the crazy politics that they had from when they were a teenager, and they never fucking grew up. They never actually started looking into it beyond any of that. So they still have the same mindset that they had when they were a young person, and they just never grew up. And so then they pass that down to the next generation. These are the people who are teaching your kids, the people who were not qualified to actually go into that field. The only thing they're qualified to do then is teach, and probably poorly.
Right. Right. Or worse, they're not even qualified to teach. What happens is they become diversity coordinating administrators.
Oh, gosh.
And they get paid more than the professors doing that. Actually, Pat and I were going through the numbers on what the professors were getting paid at his university. We figured out that he consumes, with taking 5 classes, was it per term or per year?
Yeah, 5 classes per semester, so 10 all year.
Okay. he's consuming something around $2,000 to $4,000 in university labor costs just from the professors per year. Now, if you think of, and that's as numbers that we're pulling out of that shouldn't change remarkably from one university to the other. I mean, they're not paying some professors, $500,000 a term or whatever. And we were coming up with $2,000 to $4,000, and if you look at the university fees, you subtract that from what they are charging, and everything else is it's the administration, it's what are the building costs, all that sort of stuff. It vastly dwarfs the cost of the professors, which is actually the only thing you really care about.
I would agree. And it's completely ridiculous. Another thing to think about is the political alignment of these particular professors. I think they did a study, and it was a couple. They looked at what the political alignment of professors and just general faculty at colleges were from the 50s to now. I think it was something like, oh God, I want to say maybe something like 1 in 5 were Republican back then, and now it's something like 1 in 15.
Right.
Or they were Republican or Libertarian.
Right.
So it's by and large liberals for like a liberal colleges for liberals, and everybody there is liberal. The entire administration, everybody. And so when it's an election year, they come down pretty hardcore on what they think you should think about the politics, and they feed that to the students, and they continue to push out these people who end up being entirely ignorant about how politics actually work.
No, it was pretty funny when I went to university, which wasn't honestly that long ago. There was almost a fucking secret handshake to find the professors that were not raging Marxists. They would kind of feel their students out a little bit. They'd ask some questions and kind of watch the answers. And if people were not, clutching a little red book at some point, they would open up a little bit. It's there aren't quite. They will open up. There are more of them, I think, than a lot of people realize, but they feel suppressed.
So we're gonna wrap up the live show in a couple minutes here. So is there anything else we want to touch on before we go? Anybody?
Yeah. So the two things I wanted to talk about was has there been much discussion about the sort of inevitable clash between the trans movement and the feminists, in that the feminists believe that gender is a social construct, and the trans people, by necessity, believe that it's biological?
Oh gosh, that's gonna be a mess. I think for right now, everyone's just kind of being like, shh. But you're starting to see them clash in countries like Canada. Whenever there's like a feminist meetup, I think there was. Oh god, I think there was one in French Canada. I'm trying to remember what area, but there was something like a feminist camp or something like that they were doing, and it was something like a weekend, and they were there and they were putting like Nutella on their bagels and stuff like that, and having their feminist breakfast and things like that, and but what they ended up having is they ended up clashing because there would be different brands of feminism all in the same area, and they would be viciously arguing over whether or not trans people had a place in the movement at all,
Right.
and whether or not you could even call them women. And these people are hardcore, and they give no fucks about trans people, but they're keeping them around because it keeps them aligned with liberals. It keeps them aligned with the social justice folks. It keeps them there and controlled and everything like that.
So, continue.
Yeah, and that's a really fucked up thing in all this, is that I remember watching Milo Yiannopoulos talk about how gay culture has changed, and I don't agree with Milo on everything, but it actually made a lot of sense to me. What he suggested was that to some degree, passing gay marriage, what it has done is it has domesticated gay culture. It is said, okay, now this isn't about having fun. This isn't about being different. This isn't about a culture of being different anymore. And I will say, granted, there is that part of the culture there where people enjoy being different and vibrant and being able to be on the fringes of society, and that isn't there anymore as much because now it's okay to be all domestic and get married and have a dog and a house and everything like that, and just move into the residential neighborhood.
Right.
To some degree, yeah, they are controlling these folks by giving them, you know, domesticity, the option of domesticity. You're saying, and it keeps you in line. It's like it keeps you in line. It keeps them in line with liberal politics.
We saw this hilarious essay the other day. It was from a trans guy who I guess started taking the hormones, but from what I could tell of his physique, it must have been like yesterday. And but he was standing with his shirt off, you know, showing his still very male nipples, and he was going, "So, Facebook and Pinterest and whatever, are you going to ban my nipples now because I'm a woman?" So it's a guy. I guess at some point he's going to get some juicy man boobs going on, and he's concerned, or I guess he's trying to argue for. It's like that crazy thing going on in Central or in Times Square with the naked ladies. Where there's this whole kind of free the nipple thing going on.
Wait, what?
Oh gosh. Oh, you mean like is it Femin now? Are they involved? Those are some crazy bitches.
No, they're just trying to get money by walking around naked and taking pictures. But the guy I was talking about was a trans guy who was basically trying to join the Free the Nipple campaign, but as a man transitioning towards a woman.
Yeah. So did
And
they
he's
attack?
like,
Did they attack him?
Are you going to censor my nipples now that I am theoretically a woman?
Oh jeez. Yeah, they're gonna. I would not be surprised if someone said shit to him about that.
Well,
and the reason, and I mean like feminists though, because they're really, really hostile about what they consider to be their turf.
Right.
And that's where they're always going to clash with trans people because they feel as though femininity belongs to them specifically. And if you tread on their turf,
that is going to flip the trans people eventually, though. I mean, I've been watching people. There's a whole lot of people that were previously progressive that are flipping, I guess, to some extent because they get attacked. A lot of women that get attacked, but by breaking some sort of unwritten rule of feminism, and then they're like, "Wow, you guys are hostile." There's some gay guy that gets attacked because he disagrees with some argument, and suddenly it gets people. It gets to the cognitive dissonance of these little factional lines that are drawn out, and if they keep slamming the trans people, at some point they're going to go, "Okay, screw you." And then by the rules of politics, which is the enemy of my enemy is my friend, they're going to gravitate towards something. That's just interesting watching.
Yeah. They're gonna
because it's beyond argument, right? I mean, it's just all power politics at this point.
Yeah, they're going to turn on them, and that is why I've always said that it was the worst move ever for conservatives to align with the religious right.
Right.
Because that sort of thing makes it almost impossible for trans people to really comfortably align with conservatives when they would otherwise. And I don't consider myself a conservative. I don't really consider myself anything. If you read my Medium article about why I'm just pretty much fed up with all political parties, I think it's complete bullshit.
Right.
But it makes it difficult for them to really have a place to align politically on any sort of spectrum, because where are they going to go? But the liberal area, because they're the only folks that are catering to them at this point.
No, I mean you find a lot of really inconsistent positions. So, like for example, you have the labor unions and the Greens with the Democrats. You have the Libertarians and the evangelicals on the same side. I mean, you don't align with somebody because you like somebody. You align with somebody because you don't like the other side more.
Exactly. Yep. Well, that's my frustration with political parties, though, because you end up having to choose. Yeah, you end up having to choose the lesser evil all the time, and it's not even choosing among useful evils. It's just the one you hate less.
Right.
I mean,
Well,
it would be nice if
FDR wasn't a huge fan of Stalin, right?
Yeah.
But Hitler had to drop, so there you go.
So, Will, what was the other thing you wanted to talk about?
I guess I'm just sort of curious what you think. Are you watching sort of this collapse?
Oh yeah.
Of sort of the feminist narrative? Is everybody's just like, wow, you really overextended there?
It's gonna take a while. It really is. I think we're gonna start to see it, and the reason why I think we're gonna continue to see this happen over a good period of time, but probably a lot sooner than movements have collapsed in the past. And the reason I think that is technology really plays a huge role in all this. One of the things that we didn't have in the past was the kind of technology that we have right now, the ability to communicate as quickly, and so everything kind of moves quicker. People will say that internet time moves really quick, so a week can feel like an eternity. And
right.
It's really true. And so people are going to start watching this fall apart bit by bit. And I think that political correctness comes in waves. So this is going to fall out of fashion, and then there's going to be a really big conservative backlash.
Right.
So they're going to come back, and then they're going to become the really hardcore popular thing for a while, and then it's going to take that going to an extreme for people to sort of balance out again.
Because everybody, every single time they win, they think that they won forever.
Yeah, and so then they set up shop and everything like that. And the frustrating thing for me is that humans tend to be those of excess. They tend to be extreme. So it's going to take feminism getting probably even more extreme than this before people are like, holy shit, we need to stop them. And then they will, and then the backlash will be, okay, now being conservative is the really cool thing to do. Yeah.
Right.
That's gonna, because you remember like the purity rings and stuff like that. That was really popular for a while.
Well, I mean, I think one of the things that does sustain this, and you touched on this previously, is that they've embedded themselves in academia.
Yeah.
And generally speaking, that means that they're immune to market forces, which means they're immune to general public opinion of their idiocy. I mean, everybody can think they're stupid. They're still going to cash a check.
Yep.
Yeah. And one of the things that's going to become very difficult pretty soon, considering just how bad student loan debt is that people are gonna start trying to find other ways to obtain an education, or they might even start discontinuing it, because what we're gonna start to see is, and we're already seeing it, a bunch of employed, overqualified people who have college degrees, and there's no job for them.
Right.
There's no place for them to go. They might even be really fantastic, but there's no room for them because all of those spaces have been filled up. And here in America, we're not really producing things anymore. So where are they going to go? Where are they going to go? What market are they going to go to? What business? They're going to have to create their own. They might have to go into e-commerce of some kind.
No. And that's why the government doesn't need to be in student loans.
Yeah, and so they will have fucked up everything. It will be impossible for people to send their kid through college because they're probably still paying off their debt. So how are they going to then pay for their kids to go through college?
Well, I mean, obviously, these guys, it's one of the reasons why some of these politicians are so keen on the whole idea of the free education. Because here's the other thing. When your education is either heavily subsidized or free, you're willing to put up with a lot of BS courses because you're not paying for it. But if you're sitting there and you know that every single one of those classes is happening with your money, how much nonsense are you going to sit through? Right? If you're sitting there, you're
Exactly.
like, yeah, I've worked this out, and it turns out I'm paying $2,000 for you to rant at me about nonsense, or whatever. Figure out what it is for the 4 years, divide that by the number of courses per year, and then that's what that particular class is costing you.
You want to know what my sister went to school? You want to know what my sister majored in after going through college on a full ride? I will tell you, probably the most useless fucking thing ever. Art curation.
Oh my god.
curation.
So is she?
Pride scholarship. And here's the thing. Of course, she found that was useless. So what did she do? She went back to college. She went to Cal Arts. She got into Cal Arts in California and took another useless degree in creative writing.
Wow.
Oh my god.
I was listening to
So
people today
your
in my
sister,
college.
likes sitting in university classes then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She could be at home writing and studying art herself and not have to pay anything.
here's the thing. I mean, I'm a writer myself, but I believe that the best thing to do is to actually start practicing it. Don't go through all the fucking theory and stuff like that. Actually work on stuff. Actually put something out there that is tangible. Most writers, most of these people who go to school for this, they never use it. They'll be like, I have a creative writing degree, and then what do they end up doing? They end up doing something like editing for books, or they end up, they end up doing something like copywriting, like as in writing copy for advertising and stuff like that. And they never do anything. They never end up.
Compared to other fields, for lack of a better term, the educational barrier to entry and the necessary knowledge in the writing field compared to other fields is just, it doesn't even compare. So so stuff like I don't know, Middle English poetry and stuff like that. Like you don't need to go to school for that. You don't need to pay $50,000 for that. Just pick up Canterbury Tales yourself and read it.
Exactly. Go pick up a book. Go study for a little while. Learn some things, and then start writing. Start writing.
Right.
Learn how to write something engaging that doesn't make people want to fucking close the book or feel like they regretted buying this ebook. Just.
No, that was what Ray Bradbury said when he was asked the best way to learn how to write is he said write only short stories and spend no more than 1 week on each one and just keep going. You can write 52 of these things in a year. And a lot of them are going to be garbage, but every time you write a bad one, you're going to learn something. Yeah. And eventually they'll start being worth reading.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm back now.
That's what I'm doing.
Oh,
these
sweet,
days.
Alan, we missed you.
That's what I'm doing these days. I'm trying to put out more short stories, but I don't get a chance to do them as much as I would like to because I'm working on stuff for Badgers, and dealing with other stuff.
Well, there you go.
So, Alo, go ahead. If you have any questions, now would be the time.
Or topics.
Or topics, yeah. Because we were going to close it off, but we can keep going. We got
no. Pat has 2 questions he wants to ask.
Yeah,
so.
I got 2 topics I can bust out.
After Alo's done this thing, we got 2 more questions out of Pat.
We're gonna run you ragged, Rachel.
And then we're gonna squeeze something out of this Belgian over here.
Yeah.
He's got some waffles or something. I don't know. It's gonna happen.
I'm so waffled right now.
Yeah.
All right, so Alo?
Alo.
Yes.
Do you have any questions or topics?
No, he's got
Probably honest drugs or medication.
Well, I had some earlier. I can't remember. I was too busy trying not to get hit by cars.
Right.
All right, we'll get to you then. You think? Pat?
Flying alligators.
Boom. Okay, first one. I saw this episode this morning. I wasn't able to watch all of it. I caught like the first 10 minutes. The Tommy Sotomayor Fatherless America episode. How'd you enjoy that last night? Because
I liked it a lot. I really did. We didn't get to any of the show notes that I wrote before, but you know what? It was a fantastic episode. He's really great, really charismatic, very passionate about this particular topic, and so it was really a delight having him on, in my opinion.
Yeah, because how I got to Honey Badger Radio was. I was listening to a bunch of Tommy Sotomayor stuff, I think like summer 2013, and then I listened to his interview with Karen Strawn, and then eventually, when I got a new computer and everything, I started listening to Karen, and then I got on Honey Badgers, and that's how I'm talking to you now. And I also donated $100 to Fatherless America. Tommy still needs to send me a T-shirt, but I need to email him about that.
Yeah. That'll be a great documentary, and honestly, I think we need to have more unbiased documentaries about men in the state of masculinity and everything like that. That doesn't have to be through a feminist lens, because it's so fucking stupid to listen to all of these people say like, to have a conversation about men, we need to have a conversation about women and their rights. We've been having those conversations. Those conversations have been going on for thousands of years of how we can help women and how we can ensure that they're protected and taken care of, and that they have all of these choices and everything.
No,
like that.
they don't want a conversation. This is this is what they always say. They don't just do this on feminism. They do it on a whole. This is a progressive thing, you know. They say we need to have a conversation on whatever, and what that turns into then is them filibustering the entire situation with their bullshit until everybody gets tired and goes off to dinner.
Yeah, they keep talking about serious conversation, but they never actually have one.
Yeah, they just keep talking to make sure that nobody else can talk, and then everybody leaves, and then they're like, okay, mission accomplished, and they leave. It's like what happened with so funny when Bernie got the Black Lives Matter guys came up there. Like,
oh my gosh!
Give us the mic! Give us the mic! Oh, he won't give us the mic. He gives them the mic, and they're like, oh.
And then he just stood there dejected at his own fucking speech.
Dude. And then they're like, we're gonna have a 4-minute silence because we don't know what to say now.
Black Lives Matter. I'm gonna say that right now. Fuck Black Lives Matter, because these people do not give a shit about black people. They don't give a fuck. They only care about the ones. They only care about the ones. They only care about the ones who have been shot by police.
Come on, Aloe. Let's get some black rage, Aloe.
Whenever there are a whole bunch of women who are getting abortions, whenever and aborting their children who would have been black babies. Whenever there's a
flow.
Shut up, Will.
Whenever there's a drive-by shooting, whenever there's gang violence or anything like that, and it's black-on-black violence, nobody fucking says a word. It's fucking crickets.
Oh, really? Do we not say anything, huh? We don't say nothing, huh?
I'm just saying for the Black Lives Matter people is what I mean. It's fucking crickets, and they won't picket or anything like that. When a little girl is doing her homework in her house and she gets shot up in Ferguson and nobody gives a shit. Nobody seems to care. Nobody's gonna picket and do those hashtag things for her. No, they don't care.
Really, every time something like that happens, I'll see something like hashtag Child Lives Matter, so I don't know what you're referencing.
What? Really? Pull these things up. Aloe is a consistent hypothetical liar.
Where they have leads.
Aloe is a hypothetical liar.
Where they have leads on finding this little girl's killer.
So you're telling me there's no parody of Black Lives Matter on that child's death? No parody at all. There's no Child Lives Matter, Whites Lives Matter, none of that.
No, we're not talking about parody. She's talking about within the movement.
Okay.
Within the movement.
No. I have to explain what Aloe's doing here. If there is one person on the entire planet
that plays
who says Child Lives Matter when that happens, one. Aloe would say, "See, there's one."
I will say someone said.
Boom.
Okay.
Headshot.
Checkmate.
That's
blown all over the walls. Dripping down.
I mean, I'm just saying. If you want to do something, I would recommend you start your movement. Call it homework.
No. What you got to do when you're dealing with Aloe is you got to be unbelievably literal, because his drugs have given him terminal Asperger's.
We love you, Aloe.
Oh my god.
So his ass is slowly turning into a burger.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Just over years.
It's all the burgers.
Oh no. Does that mean he's also got ass cancer?
Aloe, make your point if you want. Go ahead.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Oh, listen to him.
Good. Don't worry. I ain't worrying about shit what you're thinking about.
That's true.
It's an interesting topic. Are you sure?
I don't think I have anything to say.
No.
I'm sorry.
Nothing nice to say or nothing to say?
Just passive aggressive guilt. You want to try and twist? Is that what you're saying?
No. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
I don't have any.
Oh, come on.
Oh, shit,
You don't want to say not nice shit out.
I just think it's hypocritical for these people to only care about the people who get killed by police.
These people.
Yeah. I knew it.
I will be clear. The Black Lives Matter movement, okay? Black or white, whoever's involved in there is what I mean by they, okay?
Right. Even the trans black guy that runs it.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
Aloe, we generally don't want to completely just deject you, so come on.
I mean, Okay, well, not all of the black, just like not all Gamergates are just anti-women. Not all Black Lives Matter people are stupid. Some of them are actually trying to do something.
Of
Do
course,
something
Ella. There's at least
Okay.
one of them.
And they do talk about gang violence. There was someone who came to my college talking about the gang violence, and we should do something for Black Lives.
Oh,
So-
That's good. I would completely agree. The question is, in black neighborhoods, just like in most neighborhoods that aren't even black, most people know who the drug dealers are and where they live. So
Aloe is fist bumping the guys in his neighborhood doing this stuff, aren't you, Aloe?
yeah,
I didn't say
dude.
they're outside my neighborhood, but
Yeah.
I know
Yeah,
I know
Fist bump.
Bumpy
They're
nice.
They're also trying your doorknob at night. You tell me.
Yeah, dude.
Those are kids.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
in the
you're right.
daytime.
Kids with Glocks.
Yeah.
Well, you know
It's
what?
4 o'clock
did
in the
not
morning.
know. I did not know that they were sending people over there to talk to folks about that, and that's actually really good. That is really good. That's not at all hypocritical. But I just get a little bit frustrated about this. Where you have the kind of people that like bum rush the stage, or just talk a bunch of smack.
And
on
we call
Tumblr,
those
and then,
ignorant
like,
radicals.
and then they never do anything. Is what I'm saying. Like those people frustrate me. Those folks.
They
Aloe, are you saying that the radicals, that they're not true Black Lives Matter people?
I'm not saying they're not true Black Lives Matter
Because
people,
the
but they don't-
feminists that say
so
men
the
should be
radical
in
MRAs
death camps,
define MRAs.
they're not real feminists. They're radicals.
Well, my frustration comes from the fact that it took media manipulation, and this is the thing that frustrates me the most, to amp up these particular instances, which they are terrible. They absolutely are. But what they do is they are very much milking those particular situations where somebody died,
Right.
and they milk it for all it's worth, and it takes that for people to have these
Well,
conversations.
also
It's-
the time and the place where they choose to do it.
Yeah,
Because it was happening the year before, and the year before that, and the year before that, and they wanted, boom, that's the moment that they want to do it.
Now
just
is the
political
time. Now that
effect.
we have Twitter, now is the time to have the conversation.
Uh-huh.
We could
Oh.
also, it's also very possible, because this is a very interesting conversation, that Magic would be very thrilled to have you in on this
No.
part of the Black Lives
Kevin
Matter.
Claw would overwhelm everything.
This
Yes.
topic sounds very familiar.
All
No,
right,
I
fine.
mean-
Then
No,
then
he can
keep-
come if he
keep
wants
it
to.
down here.
If he's in chat.
No. What I was suggesting was that we could use this. Rachel, if you're interested, we're probably going to do another stream on the Black Lives Matter thing.
Okay.
We already did one, and we're probably going to do a part 2.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to join us, I think that'd be interesting. We have
All right. We'll invite
So
me.
Aloe will probably be there, and you can have some awesome arguments with him.
Yes.
Okay.
We're all gonna knuckle down, bro.
We're going to get down and dirty.
I'll try not to be overpowered by my white guilt, but I will. But then again, I'm at least.
Listen, Aloe.
Why my guilt?
Aloe is just
But
sitting
then
there.
again, but then again, at least half of my DNA though. At least half of my DNA is not white, so I'm okay. I'm good.
Right.
Oh,
there you go.
Sure.
There
Yeah.
we go. There we go.
Aloe
So I
is
get
sitting
it
there
really
just
fast.
fuming like a supervillain. It's awesome. I'm just watching him. He's just simmering. I'm loving it.
I'm sorry, Aloe.
Like once again, Will our
Be
resident
gentle.
psychopath?
Come
Right.
on, how can you not laugh? That's hilarious. He's so mad.
Why do you try to
Oh.
provoke me so much?
Dude, it's called triggered.
Oh, come on,
Boom!
Aloe. It's not like he does. It's not like they do it just to you. They do it to me. They do it to Magic. They do it to Lenny. They do it.
Yeah,
to
but it's
everybody.
different.
I've never been triggered
Sister,
for
bro.
Oh, it's different from everybody else.
Yeah, because Guinness is gonna flee. He's gonna flee. I'm gonna stay here.
Excuse me, I got Magic. Magic kept bragging about how he couldn't get touched, and I got him to watch cat fucking, and that
Oh,
was
God.
that
Please
was- that
don't
was
remind
what
me.
Cost him yeah, see, you say I give you a hard time. Have I ever made you watch cat fucking?
Don't. Humans
Boom.
and cats shouldn't. Yeah, but no.
I know. You're just hearing about this has probably triggered Rachel.
Right.
But yeah.
It triggered me.
Have you ever seen a man fuck a dog and then fuck a
You
cat?
just heard about it.
I saw Mr. Hands. I saw the Mr. Hands video. That was
Oh,
uncomfortable.
Just
That was
you've
uncomfortable.
met Magic. Just imagine him squealing on the other end of his line and going, "Oh my God! What? No! Why?"
Yeah, imagine
Oh my
a
God.
guy with a
It's
really
not.
thick
That's
Quebec
nothing.
accent.
It was the best.
That's nothing. Have you ever seen like lion sex? That's fucking hilarious. They always look so angry. They look so angry. They're like, and then they roll over and fall asleep. Then they roll over and they fall asleep. They're like,
Oh,
like your lazy ass cat that lives up in your house and stuff. So they'll just be like, and then they roll over and they're like,
nothing is funnier than the turtle sex, though. You've seen the turtle sex.
Oh god,
the
One turtle
turtles
climbs on
made
the other one,
sounds.
and the other turtle goes,
it's like,
oh, God.
Yeah.
actually,
Although
it
what I'm
starts out
talking about
like,
is
it
a
starts
human
out like,
being fucking a cat, just to be clear. You
then
must
it's
miss
like,
that one, Mike.
Shut up, Will. God damn it.
No, absolutely not.
terrible.
Happily, I never had to look at it. I just told him to go find it, and he did.
Oh no, not the turtle sex.
No. Okay. You've got a mental block in place, which is admirable, Rachel.
So do we have any more
I appreciate
relevant
that.
topics that anybody would like to cover besides?
Lenny,
Go on, a turtle
Belgium's up.
Lenny, come on, Lenny.
Yeah,
Let's do
Lenny, go full Belgian.
Yeah.
Uh,
Go full retard.
how
Let's
can
do
I
it.
go full Belgian? Oh.
Well, you could fill a bathtub full of waffles.
Right. I was planning on doing it anyway, but that's actually how we been here.
I don't think you should joke about the waffle mines. It's pretty hard.
Yeah, the waffle mines are taking many lives every year. The people who mine those
So
waffles.
it's a very proud
in
industry in
Belgium.
Belgium.
I know.
It's pretty
but
proud
just-
industry, yeah.
Yeah. It's just truly, it's.
Well,
very-
yeah, I'll ask this to Mike, but I'm very interested in knowing how one could actually.
Hold up before you say anything. I can't say axe, but he can say astis.
English isn't his first language,
Yeah,
Aloe.
exactly. He
Right.
speaks Belgian or
Yeah,
Dutch or
excuse
something.
I speak
He's
Dutch,
white.
French, and English.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, so
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
he has more linguistic skills than probably most of us combined.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. No, I asked this previously, but I'm very interested in knowing how one could actually solve the so-called sentencing gap we have in the West. It seems that men tend to get longer sentences from the same crime. It would be a very hard thing to reform in my mind, but I'm very confused on how we could go in solving that.
I have a solution.
Oh, here we go.
So
Alright.
for every crime, you get there's a set amount of years for that crime. And that way, that number will always be the number. So men and women will always go to jail for that exact number.
Okay, so then what if you have extenuating circumstances that make the crime?
What do
Yeah.
you mean? If they kill 2 people, they get the crime for 2 murders.
Well,
so
okay,
so
it's gonna be a very difficult situation because even if they find you guilty, it's a difficult situation because they find it difficult, especially in the case of murder. Especially if the woman's like really super pretty, they're like, I feel uncomfortable sentencing Jodi Arias to life in imprisonment or death. I feel because she's attractive and young, even though she's brutally murdered her boyfriend or no, her ex-boyfriend. Yeah, these people. This is the exact conversation that these people had.
and pretty, and she has her life ahead of her.
And sparkles like shoot out of her asshole. I
I've
don't know.
literally heard
It's
that from like judges, like you're young and you're pretty and you know, like. And it's like,
See, I have a solution for that too. Before the court case, you put them in a cell, and then you come back 3 days later. Don't let them shower or nothing. And then put them on trial.
That's pretty good, Aloe.
That's very
fucking
amazing.
good.
I like that.
All right.
I think
you know what?
we're gonna institute this.
Yeah, Aloe might have found at least a way to close the gap.
Yeah. Well. Oh God.
What was the name of the opposite of the glass ceiling? I can't remember this. Is it the glass sewer or what is it?
Wait, is it like the glass basement? I don't know.
I mean,
There was
I am
there was
for
a
the
term
glass
for it.
ceiling, and I think women should be on the top of the glass ceiling, but they have to wear skirts so we can all look up.
Yes.
Wow.
I
I
agree.
am 100 completely in favor of this
Okay.
plan.
Okay. Yeah. There we are. There we go.
Yeah.
You know, I'm actually okay with that. Because you gotta have something to deal with the fact that these women are quickly filling up all of these desk jobs and everything like that, while the middle class jobs that men typically would have had, and you didn't need to have any kind of higher education to get, are all disappearing. And so, you know what? I'm totally for at least giving guys a look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go. There you are.
There you
That's
go. Congratulations. We've solved the issue.
Bam,
Disseminate the
done.
decision from this this point forward. It shall be written.
you get to stand on top of the glass ceiling, but you,
Yes.
you have to wear a shirt.
What I was
Yes.
referring to more was I can't remember what the actual term was, but it's basically the idea that men are doing all the dirty jobs at the bottom, you know, all the jobs that nobody else wants to do. Is men doing them, all the infrastructure jobs, all the jobs that basically build everything around you. Like 90% of the shit you see that's actually like constructed around you is by men, and nobody's complaining that women aren't doing that.
Right. But
They're not
Yeah,
complaining that they're not like, oh, there's not enough female construction workers.
Yeah, exactly. I was actually talking about that exact thing in an article I wrote today. And yeah, that's not a conversation that they have. Typically, the conversation about affirmative action in the workplace and creating diversity and everything like that has to do with the nice indoor high-paying jobs. It's never stuff like,
With
hey,
the air conditioning?
I don't think you understand. Yeah, Rachel, indoor office jobs are dangerous for women because of the air
I
conditioning.
know, right? Yeah, there's nobody saying, oh my gosh, we need more female ditch diggers and garbage collectors. We totally need that. And nobody's saying like, oh my gosh, you know what we really need? We need to close the diversity gap in agriculture. You know,
Right.
we need more Asian farmers. That's simply something that we need here in the States.
I think it would be hard to say that without sounding racist.
You want my rice?
Actually, and here's the thing though. There's actually a good amount of Black, Hispanic farmers, and there's also a portion of Asian farmers, but still it's predominantly a white field. But nobody's going to inner city schools and saying things like, "Hey, you know what would be really fantastic is if you decided to go into agriculture, the fine art of agriculture and help produce food for this fine nation." Nobody's going and telling people to do that.
No, I mean I'm in tech, and it's funny watching this whole thing boil through about well, we need more women in tech, right? They don't apply for the jobs, and they don't have I've sat there looking at applications. They're not there. Like it's like white guy, Asian guy, Asian guy, Asian guy, white guy, Asian guy, Asian guy, Asian guy. That's it.
Well,
there's nothing else.
Yeah.
They don't want the job.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know why they're not sending it in. It's not like it was like passed out at like some Elks club with like a secret handshake or something. I mean, it's on the goddamn internet.
Hey, there's no reason to rip on the Elks.
Why not?
They're not an esoteric fraternal organization.
Yeah. And you know what? The thing that bothers me about affirmative action. Just wait on. No. Wait. No. It's not that. It's not what you think. It's actually this.
You got to poke them.
It's
just tell me what I'm doing.
Yes.
No. It's imagine for a moment. You are a woman or a minority, or you don't have to imagine that.
Yeah.
But you work your whole life trying to go into this one particular field that it's really difficult to get into, and then you finally get in, and you have no idea whether or not you are just someone who's been added on for the diversity quota, or whether you got in because you worked your ass off really, really hard. Because people are
very simple. No, you got it.
Yeah, and your coworkers don't know either.
No.
Yeah, exactly. And so you're not going to get the kind of respect that comes.
Company, they are so desperate to fill a quota that if they see anybody show up, they're like, boom.
So,
I'm not saying she's not qualified. I'm just saying that if she applies, she's in.
Yeah, and they're not treating you based upon whether or not you are a good fit, whether or not you personally bring something to the team because you worked your fucking ass off through high school and college and all this stuff, and you spent all of your time working on it. You have no idea whether or not you actually measured up, or because you fit this aesthetic quality that meets this particular requirement for this very shallow idea of what it means to have a diverse workplace.
Well, no, but it's actually it's more complicated than the politics. It goes in Silicon Valley. They have a huge problem with it's become something of a sausage fest. And, it has, and it's actually causing the young engineers and whatever male engineers to get a little antsy about the whole thing because they want to go out to a bar and it's every bar, of course, because the area is a sausage fest. They go to the bar and it's a zillion dudes and like one girl that's getting hit on by everybody. And so to actually go to date, they've got to drive all the way over to San Francisco, and that's a slog. And so then they start complaining to the company, and the company has to open up an office in San Francisco, and they got to deal with that whole nonsense. And so what they're trying to do, actually, a lot of these big companies is trying to find something they can hire the women to do. So they're like, I don't know.
Human
Do we have enough?
resources?
Do we have enough community coordinators? Do we have enough? I don't really care. We need this many women here because our programmers are basically, spending half their time just whining about there being no women in the area. I'm not even kidding. It's a serious issue, and it goes, and so it's not even the politics. It becomes a labor problem.
Interesting.
So
I've never thought of it from that
they will
perspective.
hire you basically to assist the dating prospects of the employees.
Shit, that's gonna suck though.
You think I'm
That's
kidding?
No, I'm not. I don't think you're kidding, but that really kind of sucks though, knowing that you're a woman and you got the job because they're hoping
more
that you're
engineers in the
gonna
area.
take one for the team
Yeah.
and fuck one of these nerds.
Well,
Well,
I
let
mean,
me-
you could take more than one for the team.
Well, there, yeah,
Especially
exactly.
since the ratio.
The ratio requires you take more than one for the team.
Yeah, you're gonna take about
15
5.
for the team.
You know what?
Yeah.
Now that whole thing with Zoe Quinn is starting to make so much sense.
5 burgers and fries. please.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything is starting to make sense now. Yeah.
No, but it is a real thing, and so yeah, they will even have a it's not stated, but there's even a bias towards hiring the pretty young one, right? You don't want the fat, ugly old one. That's useless for you, right? You understand what there's like literally a dating aspect.
So they'll actually look hot, and then they'll just go there and let themselves go. So-
Maybe they
That's a good strategy.
do. Maybe they do, but human resources when they're hiring women for these things, if they see a young woman pop up that's even credible for a job anywhere in the company, they'll go hired.
Yeah, but you know what the funny thing is though, is now that's the thing, that's not going to determine whether or not that woman's going to want to bone them, because if she's a hardcore feminist and she feels like all penis and vagina sex is rape, or or she's got that affirmative consent standard, like she's not
That's
gonna
bullshit though. That's not true. Look, I live in California. The affirmative consent thing, no one believes that. Okay, women will bring that up and they'll just go, so this is funny. No, it's
that is good. That is good that nobody takes it seriously. I'm glad.
It's like 1 or 2% of the population that buys
fantastic.
stuff. No one else is. Everybody else kind of giggles at it.
Okay, that's good.
Aloe once again had to be muted because he was touching himself.
There were no
Oh,
background.
no. Did what now?
Right, that's not me. What the hell? It just randomly muted him. I didn't do anything. It's weird.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's my anti-black sentiment.
Yes, Lenny, I
So
understand.
are we coming to a close, or do we have some more
I
topics?
think
here?
so.
It don't matter.
Or whatever you want to bring in, as long as I get out of here somewhere in the realm of 7 o'clock, I'm okay, because I have to go.
Oh, is
Stream
Adam in
with-
the chat?
Because I do have to go eventually, so that I can go and do the Red Pill
Okay.
gaming stream, because that's what I'm working with. Red Pill Gaming. We still have to fix up the website. I believe it's redpillgamers.com.
So why don't you shill him here?
Yeah,
Okay,
Joe.
Shill us on his show. See? Huh?
Ah, yeah.
Huh?
And then
So,
I do have
tell
one
us about
question,
Red Pill
but I'll take
Gaming.
it off air for Rachel, so we can end this.
actually threadpillgamers.com. And what that is what we're doing.
Project is.
It's sort of like a one part MS3K and one part in-depth analysis. So we'll be talking about different games, and we'll just do commentary on that. So we just try to have fun, but we also try to bring in the Red Pill gaming perspective where it applies. But if not, we just have a ton of fun.
That sounds cool. I'll check that out more.
Yeah, bro.
All right.
And I do that with Mad Cat and Schultz Brigade and Panina from Honey Badgers and a bunch of other folks. So
Excellent.
they're all funny folks. So they're all funny.
Is there anything else you would like to show?
Okay, I'm also writing for naughtynerdist.tumblr.com and as well as my Medium, which I think is I can't remember how those things are set up, but it's at naughty_nerdist, so it's attached to my Twitter account, so which is at naughty_nerdist.
I will link it in the description. Yeah.
So that's all I'm working on right now in addition to Honey Badger. So, but you can always find me on Honey Badger. So.
Okay.
Delightful.
Awesome. Sandre would also like to say that he wants to pet you.
Yeah. Get in line, sir. Get in line.
And I'd like to invite everybody who's watching, if you would like to come on the show sometime, just send me a tweet over at Eric D. Hicks, or you can message me here on YouTube or Google+. Shout out Lenny. And also, Rachel, you're welcome to come join us again sometime if you'd like to. Our is fully extended. And I would like to thank everybody, including our guest Rachel, for joining us today. So, and our audience. Thank everybody.
And also thank Ad.
Right.
Oh wait, Ad is here.
I think everybody should. Yes.
Yeah, he's
And thank you,
Thank
Ad.
you once again, Ad, for
Good night, everybody.
keeping our chat alive. Thanks.
Thank you, Ad, for reminding me how brainwashed I am.